you'll have to work twice as hard.
Being a woman.
Being a woman and African.
Yeah.
You'll have to work twice as hard. Africans do swim and we can swim, but we needed someone to advocate and champion and put us on the map. Lupita posted because our website crashed and we had so many sales. Like literally we had to the point of we sold out in minutes. Ohana will be permanently displayed at Design Museum in London in March.
Wow.
So Design Museum is the largest contemporary museum in the world. Up there in the top one, what's happening is collaboration. Down here is where competition is, but up there people are collaborating, people are bringing networking, putting each other on, partnerships. Just do what you're good at and the right people will find you.
Welcome to the podcast where we bring you exceptional journeys of women who inspire, uplift, and redefine greatness. My guest today, a very amazing human being, is a fashion innovator, humanitarian at heart, and a serial entrepreneur. Allow me to read this because it's very important. From pioneering Afrocentric swimwear to bringing a recent awardee at Tembea, Kenya, she's all about pushing boundaries. She's rocked the Forbes 30 Under 30 stage, brought 3D animation to fashion, and now is set to showcase at New York Fashion Week. Get ready for a splash of inspiration with my guest today, Neema Nkatha. Welcome to the podcast.
Wow, what an introduction.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
And I think I've not even done justice to the introduction.
No, you have.
Yeah?
Thank you.
Would you like to introduce yourself better?
So, for me, I just say I'm a serial entrepreneur, and that's been my background because I have very entrepreneurial parents. So it's come very natural for me. Yeah, so I do own, my company is called Ohana Swimwear Limited, where we design, produce and sell African-inspired swimwear, and that is our flagship product. So that's Ohana Swimwear. That's our brand and flagship product. And it's an all-inclusive brand. So we do have men, women, kids, plus size, and modest as well.
Yeah. Amazing. We'll get to learn more about Ohana, a very, very amazing brand, actually. Congratulations, by the way, on that.
Thank you.
You have been doing it for quite a while, yeah?
Yeah.
But before we get to that, maybe we can just start with, you mentioned you have very supportive parents, and through your journey, it's been, I think, a good walk with your mom and your dad. So tell us, what was that like? How was Neema, a little Neema?
I was actually very entrepreneurial as a child.
Yeah.
Funny thing, when I was just being reminded this the other day by my neighbor who was like where we grew up. So we grew up in Nyayo Estates. That's when I was a kid. And when I was about 5, 6, 7 there, I started selling popcorns in the estate. So you know how your parents buy you popcorns, seeds, and then you have it as snacks after school.
So did you
snack?
have the machine?
No, not at first.
Okay.
So you know how, because my parents used to buy the seeds, the popcorn seeds. And then now after school, instead of like buying snacks, you come home, like they pop popcorns in the sufuria and stuff. So I used to take just to get money, and then I'd put it like in the paper, in the nylon paper, and then I'd go to my neighbors, I'd knock, and then no one can turn down a 6-year-old girl. I'm like, hi, popcorn, I'm selling popcorn. so I used to use like stuff in the house.
How are you selling them? How much were you selling them?
So it's ranged. So if it depends on the size of the paper bag, the nylon, the clear ones. So the tiny ones are going from 20 bob, 50 bob, depending on the size.
This was at 6 years old.
Yes. And in the estate every single day after school to get my own money. And then that's when my dad saw that and he nurtured that. He actually bought us a popcorn machine, and he actually started teaching me how to, and he bought me the packaging papers and the machine for the sealing machine and stuff. So he used to teach me these things when I was a kid, but he could see like, oh, this is actually very natural for her. She had a passion for that. So it wasn't necessarily a specific product, but I knew I was very entrepreneurial.
Wow.
So that's where I think it was born.
Yeah.
And from popcorns, I remember. So what I did, so he was like, stop taking from the house, snacks from the house, and selling to your friends' parents. So now he started teaching me how to make money and how to invest and put that money back in the business. So like when you buy this, okay, we bought this paper for this amount. So how much are you going to make? And then that money you have to use it to buy the seeds for the popcorn.
Wow.
And then now after that, I used to package it. And then you remember how we used to make flowers out of papers,
Yes.
like you would whatever with the ruler, and then it becomes curl. So I did that. So I'd package it as a
Yes.
it came together.
Oh,
So I used to
wow.
do like the popcorn, and then I'd give you, if you buy, you get the flower. Complimentary.
Wow.
Yeah.
At 6 years old.
Yeah,
That's
6,
amazing.
7. And then I moved to sunglasses. When my parents used to travel, they used to bring me a lot of sunglasses. So I used to sell as well.
Wow.
So he did one time, he went and bought a whole pack. When he was in Europe, he bought a whole packet. And then he's like, okay, I bought this so you can sell. So I've always just been very entrepreneurial. So
Let's talk about family for a moment. You come from a relatively big family, I would say. How many brothers do you have, sisters?
I have 2 brothers, 1 sister. Yes.
How was it like growing up now with your brothers, your sisters? Are you close?
Yes, we're all very close. The 3 of us, me and my 2 brothers. So I'm the second born. My older brother were 2 years apart, and then my younger brother were 1 year apart. So the 3 of us were always together. We're always very close. And then my sister, I'm 7 years apart from her. So she had a different upbringing than the rest of us, but we're all very protective of her because she's the baby.
Yes.
So but for most of our lives, it was just the 3, me and my brothers. Yeah. But everyone, it's so funny because everyone is so different in their own rights, and they've paved their own way, because one of my brothers is a lawyer. He's into law. My sister is an engineer. She recently won Women in Engineering Award at 23.
Who's Sifa?
Sifa, yes.
Amazing.
And then my older brother, he's really good at marketing. He does, he's an entrepreneur. So everyone just, it all fits, which is,
Tell us about your background, your mom and dad. How did they tell us how? You know where I'm going with this question.
So my parents were strict and very religious growing up. My mother is a reverend.
Yeah.
And she was in the education, she still is in the education sector. But we were taught, like we grew up with morals and values, because even in business, my dad is an entrepreneur. He started multiple companies. Right now he started Vedman Capital, so they deal with investments, real estate.
Oh yeah, he's a big name in the industry.
Yes,
Mr.
in the finance world, like Kigali Heights. Do you know Kigali Heights? They're the ones who did. My dad, the financials, his company, they're the ones who built Kigali Heights. Yeah, so he's done a couple of projects. But one thing they taught us, because they were very strict, is even in business and in the world, is just we were brought up with morals and values. So you can't take shortcuts, you can't cheat your way through life. You have to put God first, and that's what I grew up with, and literally I've applied every single thing in every aspect of my life. Yeah.
Was it part of maybe just you being a pastor's daughter, that things are very strict and streamlined to go a certain way? How hard was it for you? Yes
and no, because actually, when you're younger, you take that for granted. You just think they're strict, but when you're older, when you're older and you're on your own and discovering things, you kind of see the value in everything you were taught when you were younger. But I won't lie, it was kind of hard because I felt like I wasn't allowed to do a lot of things, like go out and party with all my friends. I feel like I was always the late one to do everything. Like if it's partying, it's like they had strict rules, even in terms of dressing. I couldn't, don't wear mini skirts, don't wear tight things, and I'm just like, I'm at the age where I want to do all this thing. So I felt like I was always the late bloomer with all my friend groups. But once you get to experience everything, you realize.
Yeah. Was it church every single Sunday, Saturday as well?
No, just Sunday.
Okay.
Just Sunday. I've actually realized, I was thinking about it the other day, like we never missed church as kids.
Yeah.
And I can only remember one time I missed church, and that was because I was sick. Sick, I could not come out of bed.
Yeah.
And my auntie was left taking care of me. The rest had to go to church.
Yeah.
My brothers had to go to church. So that's how strict it was. Every Sunday we had to be in church, unless you're in your deathbed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I grew up with a very church foundation. Yeah. Yeah. It wasn't, especially when you're a teenager and you just want to go out and have fun. But then you're told, because you have to come back home. So which house are you going to come back? So you have to pick your battles. You better act right. Yeah, you have to pick your battles. Yeah.
They say the pastor's kids are the most spoiled. Do you believe that? Are you spoiled?
I think it works. I wouldn't necessarily generalize.
Okay.
So it depends on the person. Because for some people that's true. For others it really isn't. So it depends on the path you take. Because at the end of the day, you're responsible for your own life. So you can't necessarily blame. Okay, yeah, the strict upbringing is a part of it. However, at some point you decide the direction of the life you want to take. So I had my rebellious phase, but after a while I was like, hey, let me come back to the light.
What rebellious things did you do?
Mine wasn't crazy. That's the funniest thing. Like mine wasn't crazy. I think mine was just trying to experience what everyone else was experiencing. So I think that was basically my rebellious phase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So talking about your dad, just growing up with him, being such an industry expert in so many things that he does, sitting on so many boards, do you feel like the pressure was times 2 compared to how it would have been? And how did it shape you to, be who you are?
That's interesting because I've never really thought about that in terms of pressure, because he's never put that pressure on any of us. So I've never really felt that, honestly. But being in the industry now, I did feel, because when I started my company, the pressure didn't come from him necessarily, but the people around. So whether it's family members, whether it's his colleagues, his friends, his peers, they were checking to see like, is she going to, especially now being in the swimwear industry, it's so opposite.
Yes.
So they wanted to see, the pressure I felt was from other people, not necessarily him or my mom. He's been very supportive. Literally, when I started, he sat me down. He taught me how to do accounting. He taught me basics, because he started from scratch. He didn't have anything. So even when he came to Nairobi, literally, he started like me. You see, like how hustling, selling small things, running a kiosk. That's literally how he started as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And I think it's so important for parents to just start from a young age.
Yeah.
Starting these conversations on money, saving, how can you be more responsible, I think they start from an older age once you're joining campus, and then now you're being
mine started from a younger age, definitely.
Yeah.
Because as I said, they were very strict. So, and it was always like, if you want this, then have your own money to get it. So I think that's why I started hustling. So that, because I have my own money, so you're not, So it was always
the freedom.
Yeah, so for us, he started these conversations early. Depending, like if you're coming from school and you say you want snacks, we're not giving you money for snacks, like figure it out. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. I saw a trick of you give a child 200 shillings and ask them to manage that. Do you want to buy snacks? Do you want to buy that book? And then see how it fits. If it doesn't fit, you're doing something wrong. So which is a good approach. Fast forward to education. How is school life like for you? Primary?
So for me, I've had primary, I went to More Educational Center.
Yes, MEC.
Yes.
Hey, MEC people were giving us a hard time.
Wait, how?
MEC.
How?
It was the EAT school.
Really? Oh, wow. And it was during, I think Moy was president.
Yes, he was.
So, and that was his school. I remember when he used to come, we were so excited.
Yeah.
So that day we'd eat chips. And then there are no classes. So we'd like how, like today he comes. So we have parade, and then I'm sure he was doing like inspections in the morning, like early morning, but then you have parade, and then we're all gathered, and then the rest of the day, because he's addressing the school, he's brought us a new bus, he's, you know. But other than that, it was pretty strict, and like you had to work hard, so it wasn't like I went back to MEC the other day, and now they even have like, you know, I think that they even want to do like a British system, like an IG. So I did 844 throughout my entire education, but ours was fairly strict. You know, like once you start a new school, you're like the guinea pigs, the first year. Yeah. So I guess I could say that. But yeah. So after that was until class 7, and then I went to Lepic. Lepic
as well.
So I did class 7 and 8 there, and I was head girl. Class 8, yeah.
Wow.
So it was a boarding school.
Yes.
So I was taken to boarding. I saw my brother going to boarding. I used to see like him being bought for snacks and all this. So I wanted that.
You wanted
I was like, that's the only reason. Because so that I'm bought for all these things. And then I was like,
until you got there,
and you're like, why did my parents listen to me? Why? But I loved it because it shaped me also. Because now I learned independence from a very young age. So being in boarding and then being head girl, I learned responsibilities from a very young age.
Yeah. How was it being head girl? You've had this leadership role since.
Honestly, it was fun for me. I don't know about
everyone else.
I don't know about everyone else.
People from Lepic.
Tell her. Tune in. Please be kind in the comments. But I will say I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I did, because in as much as it's strict and it shapes you, it did have some perks. I won't lie. Being a prefect has some perks, but it's a double-edged sword. Like you can never win. So it's either you're on the teacher's side or you're on the student. So trying to find a balance
is difficult.
It's difficult, but I would say like it was never anything extreme. Like I was never extreme on either side. Yeah. And I think head girl was more chill than being a class or a dorm prefect, because head girl, you're not necessarily
dealing with specifics.
Yes. Okay. So like everyone just reports to me, and then I report to the principal. Yeah. So it was kind of like like I didn't have the burden of dealing with you one-on-one.
Okay. I can see that.
So you oversee. Yeah. So I enjoyed it. I did.
That's good. So in terms of studies, were you always an A student? Were you yes, no?
I had to put in effort. It didn't come naturally for me. So I was never naturally book smart.
Okay, good.
For some I was. So my favorite subjects I remember were maths, English, Swahili. That came naturally to me. But then other things like you put in effort. So I was never, So I would say like if I put in effort, I was an A student. It never came naturally for me.
Okay. All right, moving now to Pangani Girls High School.
Yes.
This is where Neema and I actually met. We were in the same class.
From Form 1 to Form 4.
Same block?
Same block, everything,
Yes, block A.
Yeah.
Pangani was such a time.
Wow.
Let's relive Pangani. How was it for you, like the high school experience? I remember we had quite some strict rules in place.
I feel like all my life has just been strict. So it started from strict to stricter to strict. I'm just like, when will this end? Yeah. So for Pangani took the cake for me because wow, you know this. You know this with Mrs. Nyambongi, may she rest in peace.
Yes.
But I was prefect. Remember from first day?
Yes.
Actually, you guys voted for me to become class prefect.
Oh, yes. We had to actually vote.
Yeah, you had to vote day one. And actually, I need to ask you about that. What was going on?
From a point of not knowing each other.
Yeah, we didn't know each other at all. It was day one. And I remember our class teacher,
Mrs. Chelula
was like, oh, you guys, we have to assign a prefect going forward. And then I don't even think I volunteered.
Yeah, I think you were one who always took leadership roles.
Oh, really? I came off like that. That's good to know because I've never known, we didn't know each other. I've never known how people ended up voting.
Yeah, and I feel like it was such an easy decision.
Yeah, mine was unanimous for everyone.
You were born for this, Neema. So me and Neema were on opposite worlds.
She was always the noisemaker. I would put literally, it would be like Joy Middle there, times 10, noisemaker. That means
constructive noise.
And my phrase used to be silence is golden. Silence is golden.
I know how tough it was because we were friends.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, you still need to be holding your responsibilities.
Yeah.
So putting someone on noisemaker list is so tough, but it needs to be done.
Especially because the teachers are very strict. And if they come to the class and they hear the noise and you don't have a list, then all of you are punished.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah.
I remember.
All of you have to remember, we have to kneel down or we have to do like the flyover. So I had to, it was kind of like I had to do it. And I was very conflicted because we used to be like, oh my God.
Yeah, and we're all like, really now? Yeah. Such a hater. But I guess that's part of being a leader.
It is.
You can't please everyone.
Yeah.
And you just have to do what needs to be done at that point.
Exactly.
I think Pangani shaped us really, really well in terms of equipping us with so many leadership skills.
It did.
Even emotionally, it was trying. But
we're strong.
It is why we are here, right?
We're strong.
Yeah, so shout out to Pangani girls, wherever you are.
Yeah.
I know the village is quite big.
And I'm so proud, I will say this, I'm so proud of all of us because all Pango alumni, they're doing so well in their respective fields. Every single person, whether I've met you physically or I'm seeing you on social media like Insta, LinkedIn, everyone is thriving. And I feel like, as you said, the school really shaped us into also being very, not only just in terms of life skills, but also emotionally strong and we're a different breed. We really are a different breed.
I remember weeding those quadrants.
and I know you did hockey. You were in the hockey.
I was in basketball.
Basketball, not hockey. Yeah.
But we used to train with the hockey team.
Yeah, I used to train. Yes. Yeah. And with the principal, one thing was she used to check grades as well. So you were not allowed to, you'll be removed from the team if you're not performing. So I feel like that was such a good value, especially for you, where in terms of you still have to, this thing is not slacking. You needed to learn how to balance time management, because I remember you used to come to class even sometimes in your uniform from practice, and practice was every single day,
almost 3 hours.
And that's how it shaped us, because as you grow older you're like, wow,
this experience
because it's 4 years, man, it stays with you. It doesn't. So you actually learn to be disciplined.
Oh yes.
Yeah,
yes.
And you learn to commit 100% in whatever it is you're doing.
Fully. And I remember our basketball coach, Mr. Omangi. He was very strict and very straightforward. If you're not performing, you're off the team. You're gone. So I think it really, really had a lot to do with shaping us.
Yeah.
Before practice, we'd run almost 1 hour across the field.
I remember P when we'd run one, I'm just like, Mido, how'd you do it? Because I'm just there like, I can't. I'm dying. But you guys, it was so easy for you. And and that's why I appreciate that school so much. Some of the values, like at the time, you feel like it's torture and you take it for granted. But when you're older and you're in the entrepreneurial world, or even not even just corporate, whichever field you're in, it actually shapes you.
It does.
And remember when I wrote my book, The Last Kiss?
Yes! Let's start from there. Imagine this girl had the audacity to write a book when we were in high school.
Tiny, and then
some of us were going through adolescence. But Neema,
do you remember what it was called? The Last Kiss.
The Last Kiss. Tell us about it.
Oh my goodness. It's so funny because I met some after now high school, how you meet people, and I was told like, so my friend, he was telling me, in our school, we used to be told, there's a girl in Pangani who wrote a book. What are you guys doing?
I swear. It was always a topic.
Like the pressure. Yeah, it was. No, because for you found your thing in basketball and sports. So for me, I remember I tried out for swimming. I tried out for different sports, but I was never like really good at it in terms of being just consistent or the best at it.
Yeah.
But I've always found solace in reading and writing. So for me, that was like my part-time where I just find peace. Like when guys are in the clubs and in the sports. And so mine, I was just writing like my thoughts, like
So
fiction.
how did you start it? Were you just scribbling?
No, I was just writing. I literally have, do I have the book? No, I was writing on the book. You remember our A4 books? I was just writing. And then I remember like I showed to my dad, like I was just writing different stories. First of all, guys, it's fiction. That's not me. Yeah. But you know, at that point, you're just like all about like, romance and we're watching High School Musical.
Book. And Pitch Perfect.
Yeah, we're watching Pitch Perfect, High School, Glee, all that stuff. So that's all that's in your mind. And I remember we're in Form 1.
Yeah.
Because I launched it in Form 2.
Amazing.
But yeah, so that's how it came about because I was just writing short stories. And then my dad saw, and even my compositions, I used to get like really high marks in compositions. Yeah. So like you'd compile and then read, and it's like, why not come up with a book? Yeah. So I was like, oh, okay, why not?
So how was that process? Did he like organize you with maybe some?
Yes. So he did introduce me to a couple of like friends, and I feel like that's, as I said, I've been very entrepreneurial, like selling all that stuff, but that's kind of when you get a taste of the real world where it's not always rose-colored glasses.
That's true.
Because some didn't want to publish because some was like, this is very amateur.
She's too young.
Yeah, and the writing is not, the best, up to par. Because some were very professional, like, And for mine, it was never that serious.
Yeah.
It was never meant to be a book. So at least one of them saw the vision.
Yeah.
He was like, we can turn this into like a small fun, and it had pictures, like a fun book for your age group. Because it wasn't really meant to be, I wasn't a professional writer then. And I'm still not a professional writer. I'm not an author like J.K. Rowling or Chinua Achebe guys. So yeah.
How is it? Is it for like a young girl, maybe someone who has, the talent?
Yes.
How is it? Is it to start or just write a book?
Just from my experience.
Yeah, from your experience. Was it easy? Was it such a long period of time?
I think the writing part, if you have the talent, go for it.
Okay.
I always say this, just do what you're good at and the right people will find you.
Okay.
So it's not about, I know a lot of people, they shy from exploring their talents or what they're good at or presenting it to people because you got a fast no. But the right people always find you. So you just do what you're created and meant to do. And then, so never shy away. So I think for me, I don't know where I think it's good. Because me, I just had a different kind of audacity. I used to just do things and then, but I never, I bring it out there. But for me, I think what helped me is I never thought about it. Like, so I never used to stress over it. I'm like, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Yeah, you're not relying.
So up until now, it comes through. That's when I'm like, oh my God, like, this is actually, and then now I start being nervous. I start thinking, but I think the first step I never used to, like I just start something.
How about publishers? Are there like
with the publishers,
entrepreneurs?
Pardon?
Publishers who maybe help young authors, someone who's willing to write a book. Is there somewhere they can reach out to make it easy for them to,
Yeah. Since I haven't written a book since, I wouldn't know specific, but I'm sure there are because my dad recently launched, he wrote 3 books. He's written 3 books, The Merchant's Pearl, Transformative Entrepreneur, and The Agile Investor. So if you're either in the investment world, entrepreneur, like in the corporate, and you want to know how to venture into business or make money or invest, he's the guy. So I know he's perfect for it because he's now become an author and he's telling his stories and helping young people like us, entrepreneurs and young people in corporate and whatever part of life you're at. But for me, I wouldn't honestly know any. I wouldn't put a finger to one, but I'm sure there are many, and I'd be happy to get back to you on that. Like even ask my dad who he used.
That would be good. Yeah, that would be good. Let's move to now. You're done with writing your book. Was it bringing money?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
How much? How much was the book, by the way?
Oh, the book was 300.
Oh,
at the time, back in the day, 300 was a lot, and it didn't cost much to actually publish because I did mass production, so it didn't. Yeah, so
how many copies did you make?
Oh, do I remember?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was quite a while.
It was.
Yeah, but it brought you like at least.
It was,
so,
I don't want to say my age, but it was over 10 years, over a decade ago. So yeah, but it's so funny how it's come full circle because my younger cousin, he literally came and told me, I read The Last Kiss because like my uncle and auntie have. So he found it in the house and read it. It's like, this is Neema, like,
nice.
And he's like 9 years old.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my, you still have that? Yeah. So I was just like, yeah. Wow.
It's good to know, you have people who actually are interested in your craft.
Yes.
And if you never did it, you never know.
You never know. And that's what I always say. Just, you have nothing to lose. If it doesn't work, move to something else. Now, at least you know. But it's worse to die having not tried anything. You have one life. Make the most of it.
I love the business world now.
So fast forward, after high school, I went to Strathmore. So Strathmore, I qualified. I'd applied for law.
Yeah.
So I was called for law, but during orientation, I transitioned to business. Because, as I said, now through selling the books and talking with my dad, like he started teaching me about investments. He used to buy me books because I'd ask questions. And at the time, he had started Fusion Capital. Fusion Capital, they are the ones doing most of the real estate investments. So he's the one who brought up the conversation of D-rate in Africa. Like they were doing D-rate is development real estate investment trust. So he's the one who introduced just the whole D-rate concept.
Right.
Yeah. So I used to ask a lot of questions, and he saw I was interested in business. Yeah. But I never studied business. We didn't even did we have that option in high school?
I don't think so. Actually,
we didn't have that option.
Yeah.
So I think that's when I transitioned. Now, when in Strathmore, instead of applying law, because I was like, okay, I'm good at writing and just it comes naturally. So why not study business and just get the skills?
So you did finance.
So I did finance, because my dad advised finance is when you learn.
This is Bachelor of Commerce in Finance?
No, School of Finance and Economics. Finance on its own,
okay.
And then so I did 1 year Strathmore, and then I moved to USIU. So USIU, I did IBA, International Business Administration, and then majored in finance.
How was Strathmore life?
As I said, strictest.
Strathmore, you have to have your tie. I don't know, up here.
My life was from strict, more educational, stricter, Pangani, strictest. I was just like
Yeah.
Strathmore was quite. Remember when I said the cake was pango, now the icing on the cake. So like more educational was the flour, the eggs, the mixing, and then the cake was So in Strathmore
is the program that
and funny again, SFI, we were the first one. So I'm always like the first in everything. I'm like the guinea pig. We were the first ones. My cohort, first years, they had and School of Law, they were also the ones who entered that year.
So this is starting School of Finance and Economics.
Yes, because they had BCom. They had the Bachelor of Science and Com whatever, but they'd never had School of Finance and Economics, where they were just teaching finance on its own, or economics, or financial economics, or actuarial science.
Oh, amazing.
So those were the 4 you could choose from.
Yeah.
So I chose finance.
One thing I love about Strathmore is the variety of programs that you can get, actually.
I did too, and that's why I chose that. However, for me, coming from Pango and such a strict, I wanted some sort of freedom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like to also grow, to develop, because I'm just like, at that point, you don't know what you want, and you're discovering, you're trying a few things here and there. So I will say academic-wise, it was good. However, social-wise, because also when you joined, you have to, so I'll speak to SFI only, not the entire school. And they can, when you're watching this, they will tell you, guys, my friends from SFI, my classmates, they will tell you.
Yeah.
So it was classes started at 8:15, they ended at 4:15. So it was like a corporate. Yes, every single day.
Wow.
So you can have breaks in between, like a 1 hour, whatever. Yeah, but every single day.
Yeah.
So depending on your class. And then when it starts to differ, because the first year all of us were taking generally the same classes, all of us. And then now, let's say if you chose actuarial science, so sometimes now you will have actuarial science classes now going forward, and then I'll have specific finance classes, but still 8:15 to 4:15. And then Fridays you had to go for clubs or sports. So it was kind of like Pango.
What?
Or yeah.
So you were forced to do a recreational activity.
Yes. By join a club, whatever, do something. Be all rounded. So I'm just like, oh my goodness. God. And they were so strict because if you're late, if you're this, then it was just, yeah. So I couldn't, for me, I left because of just the social aspect. Yeah, I just wanted to grow in that area because I felt like my life was very directional.
So is this why you went to USIU?
Yes, because USIU have a bit more freedom. You get to choose your classes, the timings and all that. So actually, I even worked when I was in USIU. I started working. Yeah, like I really enjoyed USIU. I thoroughly enjoyed, and I enjoyed the culture because it also exposes you to the world, the real world. You know, with Strathmore, it's a good school.
Yes.
But the exposure, I'll speak from my experience. From my experience, I felt like the exposure was very limited in terms of academics. So beyond academics, you also have to have life skills. You also have to be good. You have to, like, what if I don't want to be a perfect employee?
Yes.
Like you see, like what if, and that's when even in USIU, it opens you up, like you have so much freedom where you get to explore different things, even in how you express yourself in dressing alone. That's when you discover yourself. You're like, oh, this is how. So I really like that. Yeah.
So is this how Ohana was born?
Yes, actually, when I was in USIU.
Oh, good.
So as actually, because I finished all my coursework in 2017 and graduation, because I'd passed, graduation is usually in September, but I finished the semester after. So I have to wait like another year, the next year. So 2018, so I had like, September is 9 months. So I had like 9 months of basically nothing, figuring out my life. Yeah. And as I said before, I was working when I was in school, but then I'd stopped, because we had to do voluntary, whatever, and all that stuff. So I'd finished. So how it came to be, it first started out of a personal need. So in 2018, I applied to do the Euro tour. So I did with Wavu Travels.
Yes, I saw that.
And it was during summer. So that was like during August and whatever. And then, so I was like, okay, this looks fun. And I'm so grateful for my parents for allowing, because also they were exposing me to the world, and they were like, you deserve it. You've really been through the ringer.
I know.
And as I said, I had 9 months. So what happened was, so when that trip came about, I was looking for, you know how we have everything African print, from clothing to shoes to bags.
Yes.
But no, there was no swimwear. And we were going to go to the beach. It's summer, different countries. So I was like, why hasn't anyone done African print swimwear?
Right.
And we grew up with Speedo and these other costumes from school. And so they were, and when you want to go for a summer holiday, you want to look,
and representing Africa.
I wanted to be authentic, represent Africa, but also look good. Something that accentuates my curves, all that. So, and none of my costumes did that. And most of the costumes we had, also the bikinis were very plain.
Yeah,
plain colors, generic, exactly. So that's when the idea first came.
Right.
But then I remember I asked my dad, I was like, my dad told me 2 things. So if someone hasn't done this business, either they have never thought about it, or, which is unlikely because it's 2018, like no idea is new.
Yes.
Most ideas
have been done.
So it's either 2 things. If you're coming up with something and it's not there, so it's either it's never been done, no one thought about it, or it's been done and then it didn't work out. No, but it didn't work out. Like you failed. So I was like, you know what? I have nothing to lose. I have my degree. If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't work out, I have my finance degree. I can work in a corporate job. I can apply for jobs.
Yeah.
So that's when it came into
why Ohana? What's the name about?
It means family.
All right. In what language?
So it's originally Hawaiian, but for me, I tend to focus on not necessarily the origin, but the meaning, because it came so natural because honestly, when I started, it was my family and friends who supported. So it was never even,
That's true.
my dad gave me some cash to start out with a sample. And then I took a loan from the bank, and my parents were the guarantors. So that's how to just come up with, and exactly, that's how I started it off.
Yeah.
And it was just a lot of, because I didn't have money for marketing or whatever, and I had no idea what I was doing. So I used to just sell to my friends or whatever my friends would tell their friends. So like they would bring them on social media. I remember a lot of influencers didn't even want to
be associated.
Yeah, because they're like, what is this?
It's new.
It's new. Yeah, they don't know the brand. They don't know the person. Or if they do, like I was even offering to give you for free. But then if they do, it's like, oh, you have to pay me to post and I have no money. I have to pay the bank.
Yes.
And the bank is taking all the profits, like with interest. I'm like, yeah.
But it's a good loan because I really advise, I'm an advocate for if you want to move your business further, you'd rather take that loan or look for some...
Because you will be very determined to... You know, banks don't joke. They will come for... So you'll be very... And that was my thing. I was very determined to make this work, just to repay back. But that's how I started, because my friends would post about it or would whatever and would buy. And I was just like... I didn't have a name at that time. So it was coming... Like you'd come to my personal page. But then it got to a point where it's like... You know about it, and then your friend, and then I'm like, okay, I can't have my phone number and personal whatever, so let me create a page. And then I was literally looking for names, and I was like, what are the values? For me, the names came from the values of the company, because I was like, family, like my family has really held me down, and family is not necessarily even just blood.
So at this point, you went to register.
So in 2018, late 2018, that was the time for the Europe tour. And then 2019, January, I registered it as a company, as a business. So it was called Ohana.
Just in that, because I can imagine swimwear is not fast moving.
No.
So how is
it's a seasonal product.
Yeah, it's a seasonal product. How hard is it for you to run the business?
And fun fact also, because for me, I feel like I started a business at first, honestly, because I was the first one to do it in the country.
Yes.
I was so, you know, when you're, again, fast. I feel like I'm always in the guinea pig.
In a good way.
Yeah, I know. That's so funny. I'm discovering that as we speak. Yeah. Being the first of anything, I will say it gains me a lot of traction very quickly. Brought me in opportunities and spaces I've never been before, because there was no one else doing it. But also, as I said, double-edged sword, because I'm also learning. So also, in as much as the success is great, the failure can be in equal measure, because I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm figuring it out as we go. And everyone, so even like I got everything wrong, the sizing wrong, like the prints and the patterns, the cutting was wrong. So it's like the complaints. And then, sometimes it's very hard because, for instance, if let's say you're my first customer, and then you order something and it's not perfect, like fitting, you also sometimes can get turned off. But some people understood, like, this is a young person, it's a young company, she's getting started. So I used to take a lot of the critics as well, and now implement positively, and that implement as I grow, even with the new designs, new whatever, I take that in. I'm like, okay, so this has to be, this sizing, like I had to learn everything on the ground.
Yeah, I think in business, it's important to just be open to critiques. It will never always be positive.
The real world is not like, it's not, as I said, rose-colored. Like a lot of the work, a lot of people just see the good stuff.
The
outcome.
Yeah.
Like 99% of the time.
The blood and sweat that has
I do not look like this. I'm just like, you know.
Yeah.
You know faster. And
I know.
It's very, very stressful. And it's so interesting because 2019, and then I was on a trajectory up here, and then 2020 COVID happened.
Oh no.
So everything shut down.
People are not buying costumes.
Because the borders, first of all, have shut down.
Yes.
International and national.
You were importing?
Yes, I was exporting. Oh no, I was exporting the costumes, like international orders and clients. Okay. Yeah, and then the borders shut down. And then I was also stocking in hotels.
Okay.
So hotels shut down. No one is swimming. No one is going outside. I can't. Yeah. So a lot of that I had to transition from. I had to just be creative around it, because I'm like, okay, fine, sales might not be coming, but I can still keep the brand active on social media. So we did a lot of, that's when we were doing a lot of these challenges, like remember Don't Rush challenge? So I used to do a lot of Ohana, like just to keep the social media, like the engagement alive, the audience, so that it doesn't die with,
So this time you're not making any money?
No, during COVID.
Yes.
What was my saving grace actually was Lupita wore and posted in 2020.
How did you get her to do so?
Girl, Lupita when you watch this, girl,
Oh,
I love you. Hit me up. I want you to Ohana babe for life.
Yeah.
Ohana babe for life.
I love it.
What happened was, so in the US, they were doing this support Black-owned businesses. Remember at that time for George Floyd and like US was going through their transition and a lot of things was happening. So once that whole movement started of support Black-owned businesses. So for her, because she's Kenyan, she was, I think, putting on also African Black-owned African. So I remember I don't have her contact, so I didn't know anyone from her team
Directly.
I didn't know anyone directly. So for her, what I was told was that she wanted also not just to put African Americans, but also from her, from where she's from her heritage and stuff.
Yes.
So she was doing apparently I think East Africa tour. She was going to TZ or something. So she was looking for African companies and whatever she can put on. And I was told one of the brands she liked was mine. When she saw, because she just searched bikinis in Africa.
Great.
Yeah. That's honestly it is, because I realized, you know how when you write your manifestations, your prayers to God, when Lupita had won the Oscar in 2018, I remember I'd put for Ohana vision, like I pray like Lupita, like who's your ideal person? I used to say Lupita.
Wow.
And then she won.
Came
to life.
Yeah.
And that is just, honestly, those are only
a grounding moment.
Yeah, it was. And it made me realize those are just doors that only God can open. Because till today, I don't know her.
Yeah.
I've tried to she has millions of followers. I've tried to reach out, even look for a team or anything, but I just know it came from the support Black-owned. So at that time, we got a lot of sales abroad.
Oh, nice.
And that was our saving grace, because now that money I used to make sure, I used as working capital to make sure the company survives during COVID, stays afloat during COVID. But yeah.
Talking of doors opening, is this the door that Magical Kenya, AU, I've seen you on platforms, big platforms. Is it Ohana that has opened up doors for you?
Yes. Honestly, it's Ohana.
Because it's a made in Kenya kind of thing? And does that mean that Kenyan items are really wanted all across internationally?
Yes. That actually gave me a lot of affirmation because Kenyan brands are on the rise and people are looking towards Africa. The world has shifted.
Right.
The world has shifted to Africa. And this is the root for everything. When it comes to art, creativity, everything comes from Africa. So it's just about you, how you position yourself and how you align yourself. So for us, because the vision for Ohana is to be the leading brand championing for African swimming. So in 2018, World Health Organization had put out a note stating that Africans have the highest drowning deaths in the world, which is about like 17 to 20 times higher than in developed countries. Wow. And we know swimming is an essential skill.
Yes.
And Africans, in as much as it is true, the statistics, Africans do swim and we can swim, but we needed someone to advocate and champion and put us on the map. So I was like, that became my vision for Ohana, because it aligned. At first, it started as a personal need, but it transitioned quickly. So I also advocate for swimming as a sport and Africa, because I feel like as Kenyans we're overlooked. We're known for running, but in other sports we're overlooked.
Yeah,
and we had exactly. And last year Olympics we had Kenyans. We had a Kenyan girl and the Kenyan guy representing, and I'm like, these are things we need to. So that's how Ohana comes amplify, and that's how Ohana comes up across the board. So for us, it's a big. We advocacy also in terms of sports and swimming, especially. Yeah.
Let's talk AU. I saw recently you were in Addis. Was it?
Yes,
Addis
Ethiopia.
Ababa?
Yeah, Addis Ababa.
Yes. Tell us about AU, and also just in the light of AU, talk about our Baba. Why do you think Raila lost this chairmanship?
Oh my goodness.
Do you have some inside scoop?
Honestly, with AU, it works different as opposed to Kenyan politics.
Okay.
Because in AU, the elections are not done, they're done by countries. So you just have to align and get alliances with different countries. So that's basically it. No one could see any of this coming. It wasn't like no one could predict who would win.
Yeah.
It's just you put your best foot forward as a country. And honestly, our president did a good job in terms of, you know,
pushing the
agenda for Kenya and even the different, I don't know if you noticed, but he was traveling a lot to different African countries to just try and get alliances because that's how the voting is done with countries. So basically, no one could have predicted. We put our best foot forward.
Yes.
And
do you think Raila winning the AU chairmanship would be like a positive for Kenya?
100% would be a positive for Kenya because that puts Kenya, AU's African Union, it's beyond the country. So even a lot of the opportunities, Kenya would be the representative, every single decision that happens in Africa across the board, Kenya would be the voice, or rather, because we have the AU, if we had the AU chairman, he's like the president of, so all decisions cuts across the board, and we would get a lot of opportunities. Not to say that we won't get now, we still will, because Kenya is the strongest economy in East Africa. It's a hub for, investors and tourism, and we're still at a very strong position. Yeah, but we did put our best foot forward, and I did enjoy my time because I do enjoy policy and learning about all these things. And it's good to also see young people caring about our country because we're the ones taking over. And
absolutely.
I will just say, even the leaders, even with Mr. Mahmoud Yusuf winning, it is a positive thing because a lot of the leaders that I met, they're very forward thinking.
Right.
They're putting Africa first.
Yeah.
We're past the colonial times where, as you saw, the French are getting rid of the colonialist Francophone countries are getting rid of the, French African countries. So everyone wants to stand as Africa, as our own. So even the current leader, I have a lot of faith in him.
Same.
Will put Africa forward.
Yeah, I think the vision is the same.
The vision, it is the same.
Africa Global Village, which is a good thing.
AU has these programs.
Okay.
So one of the programs, and that's the one I was representing Kenya in, they wanted to start including women and youth, and not just include us in policies, but actually back that up in terms of financial backing. And so that's why it's called WIFI, Women and Youth Financial and Economic Inclusion.
So is it open to the public?
Yes, it is. So the first cohort, we were there was a choosing criteria.
Yes.
And I do know from the conversations I've had, because now they're using us to test just how, because they have also the vision, as I said, the 10-year vision and the markup. So for mine, specifically, it's called AfriTalent.
What does AfriTalent do?
So AfriTalent, so that I'm a part of. So basically is to, as I said, the people who are overlooked in terms of even creativity, the creative industry, in terms of entrepreneurship, because a lot of people a lot of investors, and they go into specific, invest in specific, whether it's tech, but a lot of creative entrepreneurs are often overlooked.
Yeah,
so now we're the voices, and
so you bring together the
so they've brought together a couple of young entrepreneurs from across Africa who, they're doing their thing, and all of us is so different.
All across Africa?
Yeah, it's not even limited to I'm in fashion and Ohana, it's not limited to that. The things people are doing, it's incredible. Yeah. In terms of just being creative. And that's what they wanted to open the doors. So I know the first cohort they chose from East Africa. And then they're doing East, South, different. Amazing. And then, so we're the first. So this year. So I will tell you more as we continue and as I learn more. But basically, that's what AU is doing. They want to start including a lot of women and youth in a lot of these programs because they realize what the ones.
So are they mentorship programs?
There is mentorship.
There's grants that you get?
Yes, all across the board.
Okay, good.
There's mentorship. There's grants.
Okay, good.
And even if you don't get grants from the EU, they provide you with what you need. So for instance, let's say whatever I need or you need, you tell them, and then they will, whether it's introduction to specific, because here we have venture capitalists, whether it's introduction to specific media, whatever it is industry you're in, they connect you to basically, whether it's here, whether it's in other different African, whatever you need.
Where can someone check it out?
So they will, it's going to be online. I think they will start putting it online and then having people apply across Africa. So after this cohort, I will be able to tell you more about it, but I know they will open it to the public. It is going to be an open, so they give people also an opportunity and they get to learn
environment. I see you also do a lot around that. Is it something that you love doing, or is it just a part of, you have to do CSRs? I know some businesses just say, let's just do that community work project, just for the sake. But I feel like there's a deeper connection with having a business and just giving back to the community.
Yeah. For me, it's a part of me. I love doing that because we also have a foundation. Okay. Like as a family, we have Riziki Foundation.
Okay.
My parents have been doing it for 20 years.
Amazing.
Yeah. So even like when they did Fusion, like a lot of the money, when I went hiking for Mount Kenya in 2016, we hiked Mount Kenya, but we're raising money for, so a lot of Riziki we were raising money for education purposes. So we've like literally put a lot of kids through school where we provide educational needs and also beyond educational.
Of what age groups?
So we did start primary, but now it's transitioned into guiding you throughout, like if you need sponsorship in terms of uni, high school, whatever it is. So the first thing we started with the education, and so that it came naturally. So even a lot of humanitarian, my sister, as I said, she did environmental engineering and biometric. So she is really passionate also about the environment. So for us, it's a family. All of us as a family incorporated, that's our passion. So like even Ohana works closely with Riziki because now I want to, what I'm doing with the proceeds we get, and even in the sports, I want like proceeds to go into empowering kids and young people where if you're not good in academics, we empower you in terms of sports. So in terms of like we can design kits for young kids who are good at sports and nourish that talent, whether it's swimming, whatever it is.
I love that.
So
I love that. Yeah. The mission is very amazing to hear.
Yeah.
And so what if someone wants to join Riziki Foundation? They just go to your website and apply?
Yes. Okay. So it's rizikifoundation.co.ke. Just go to the website and apply, yes.
Yeah, I love that. Wow, you really wear so many hats. How are you even balancing it all?
Girl.
But I'd say as an African woman, we are expected to have this subordinate roles, or I don't know what.
Do you know one thing I was told when I was younger? You'll have to work twice as hard.
Being a woman.
Being a woman and African.
Yeah.
You'll have to work twice as hard. And I didn't know what it meant at first because I remember my dad was telling me that it's him as a man, fine.
Yeah.
It's not as hectic as me transitioning and doing my own thing. You really have to work twice as hard.
Have you had moments where people just don't believe in your craft and they're like, she's a woman, what does she know about?
And a lot of it being just the swimwear, I get overlooked a lot. Guys would think it's like, just a bikini designer or she's in bikini, so she's just or she just posts pictures and like you don't see the bigger picture or the vision, and that's fine. It's not for everyone.
Exactly.
But I do get overlooked a lot, and I feel like I've had to work twice as hard to be even recognized on stages like AU, and where I go and talk about the mission, and also not even just that. For me, it's just also like, as I said, entrepreneurship, the climate of the country, the opportunities, because I'm like a voice for us young entrepreneurs. And for me, having lived through it, I feel like that's the best. It's the perfect,
I love how you said it's not for everyone. I mean, not every business has to be for everyone.
Exactly.
People shy away from starting their business thinking like, what will people think? What will people say? I mean, if they don't vibe with your business, it probably wasn't for them.
Exactly. You will find your niche and you'll find your customers, and that's who you need to nurture. And those are the people who will help you grow. Because I found my community, the Ohana, and that's why I said it's a family. It really is a community, and all the models, all the girls, that we are all actually friends now. We're like talk all the time. I was actually Nyanka's bridesmaids at her wedding.
I know Nyanka.
Yeah, and I met her through Ohana when she was a brand. You see, like it's so full circle.
I need to hop on this.
Yes.
Full circle.
First of all, you need to be at. Excuse me. Let's turn it around. Yeah.
Okay, call me out. Call me out.
Yes. So when did you first get your Ohana piece? Please tell me.
My Lord.
After this, guys, we hold her accountable. by the time she's launching this, by the time it airs, she needs to
own
at least even one
piece.
At least even one piece.
Yes,
Yeah, because I see you travel a lot. You post a lot of bikini pictures.
Yes, and I'm supposed to be here for women. For
exactly,
women.
You need to help my company, grow.
Absolutely,
and
absolutely. And I'm putting a pin to this.
Yes.
I have to have an Ohana piece.
Yes.
In my wardrobe, and so do you.
Yes.
Every
single person.
Yeah, I love
even
the
crew,
fabric.
the production.
I've seen it. It's very, very lovely. Now, since you wear so many hats, let's talk personal just a little bit. So Neema, outside all this work that you're doing and everything and wearing so many hats, being the Jill of all trades, how is your relationship life?
Well, I have a good relationship with my parents. I have a good relationship with my family members, with my friends. I feel like I live a full life.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Are you happy?
I am happy.
Are you looking for
I feel like I've reached in a stage in my life where I'm prepared to settle down wherever God sends my way. Yeah, I'm prepared to settle, and someone who really aligns with my values and also with my schedule and my business life. So I'm looking.
What are you looking for in a man?
Honestly, someone who's God-fearing, because I feel like if you have the values that are in the Bible, then everything else aligns. Yeah.
Right.
So I do want someone who will lead me to Christ, and because I already am in Christ and I am a Christian and all that, but I do want someone also who shares the same values, because everything else will fall into line. I do believe that 100%. Yeah.
How's the dating scene in Nairobi been for you?
I have been dating.
Yeah.
Yes, I have been dating, and I am looking forward to settling down.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Do you have pressure for like kids? The age we're turning a very serious
age. Wow.
Then you have those
we can't say it.
Those aunties who are always, hey, Corny, what is happening?
Almost all my cousins, the same age, all have kids. They're settled.
Wow.
So I can imagine, but I feel like for me, the pressure it has been there in terms of, I haven't received the pressure specifically from my parents.
Okay.
But now when we do like family reunions at Christmas and everyone is coming with their babies and my grandparents are like, when are we meeting our, great grandchildren? And for me,
do you have pressure?
As a woman, yes, you do. You feel that pressure. But for me, I feel like when, honestly, because I do pray about it, and I feel like it'll happen at the right time, because I know why it didn't happen before, because I was so busy. A child is it's 24 hours. So something would have suffered. I feel like starting a business also is like a baby. You have to give it 100% of your energy, of your time, of your resources, every single thing. Yeah. So I feel like it just didn't align. But I'm in a position where as I gain stability I'm open now to that. Yeah, I am.
I think we were having a good conversation on our way here on how women also need to be accountable.
Yes.
In bringing kids to the world.
Yes.
Because it's easy to bring a child to the world.
Yeah.
But now sustaining them and getting through life, school, everything can take a toll on you.
It does take a toll, and I do feel sometimes it is selfish because you're not thinking about the child. Like, you might come from a good home, so why are you bringing a child into a broken home? So I do think a lot of the power is on the women we hold, so we have to make very conscious decisions. I know life happens, that's fine, you can never predict life, that's okay. But if you're in a position where you can, please do not bring a child to where a child will suffer, yet you had a good life, you're not providing a stable family life. And that's what I wasn't in a rush for that. That's why I was never in a rush to have kids and all that, because I really wanted to settle down and also be present for my child. I don't want, So women do have to be held accountable, because it's no longer about the guys. It's so easy to point a finger and just be like, oh, the guy is not taking responsibility. But you knew you're not in a relationship with this person. Technically. You knew you're not in a relationship. Right? Exactly. Because they also, if you're not in a relationship with a guy, then you go ahead and have his child.
Yeah.
That's not going to make a guy stay, or it's not. You're bringing, so you have to also be smart and take accountability for your life and your child's life. So women, we have to be, and we're in a new age where
Yes.
women, we have information, we have all these things. As I said, life happens, but please take control of, be accountable for your life. Be smart also. Don't settle for less.
Yeah.
Just,
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I think also for me, being an only child, it's a lot of pressure just thinking like, what's the right time?
Yeah.
I think when we were growing up, we were like, at 26, I'll have
Yeah.
children, I'll be married, my car, doing
Literally, yeah.
But life is really not a straight line.
It isn't.
And it really grounds you to just think of, for me, it has been, I want the stability just before I even bring a child or even a partner to my life. So that we're nurturing each other, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. I love that how you
And you have to have your own thing going on as well.
Yes.
Because if something happens, you have to be in a position also to provide for yourself and protect yourself. So,
you have to,
Yeah.
have your checks in order. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not an easy conversation.
It really isn't, but it's necessary.
Yeah.
It's necessary. And even with all these movements of, women, protect women, Me Too, and all that stuff, we also have to be accountable for our actions.
Yeah.
And not everything is on men. Yes.
That's true. That's
So,
true. And also be accountable to other women.
Exactly. We need to stop putting, especially when it comes to men.
Yes.
Like, we need to stop putting each other down, or we're not in competition. Like up there in the top one, what's happening is collaboration. Down here is where competition is, but up there people are collaborating, people are bringing networking, putting each other on, partnerships. But down there is it's so everyone. That's why it's the same. Even because I remember when you asked about the AU, the insights. Like even at tea break, we're all connecting, we're talking. We're like, oh, this will be great in my country. This is the policies. Out here, people are hating on each. Oh, this one will not win. This one will.
Yeah.
Out there, we're all friends.
Yeah.
So that's what I was telling you. Up there, don't be
Don't be fooled.
Don't be fooled.
People are partnering.
People are partnering, collaborating.
It's not lonely at the top.
It's not lonely at the top. Find your tribe, and if your tribe is not moving, every stage you'll always find your tribe at every stage. So
I love
sometimes they say it is lonely at the top because let's say you cannot go with everyone you started with at the bottom. That's true. But it's not lonely at the top. You will find every single thing you're doing, you will find your tribe and stick to that. Yeah.
And across the journey, I think it's important to know the friends you started with are not
necessarily
that you need 20 years later.
Yeah.
It's
because everyone has their own journey. Everyone moves at their own pace. Not everyone is where you're at. Some actually have families. Some are employed in the corporate world. There's nothing wrong with that. Some entrepreneurs, some have started late, some have started early. You can make your first million at 25. You can make your first million at 55. Everyone has their own journey. So it's never personal. Don't take it personal. You just go through your own. And don't compare your life. Comparison,
kills visions.
Yeah.
When did you make your first million? And couple it up with...
Did I really walk into that? I really walked into that. I set myself up.
Yes, you did.
Set myself up.
Yeah, and you can couple it up with you recently won the Magical Kenya photo contest. How was that for you as we come to a close, but stay tuned?
So, that's actually a good question.
Let's start with $1 million.
I think it was the time Lupita posted because our website crashed and we had so many sales. Like literally we had to the point of we sold out in minutes and then so the rest I told them to pre-order and then so you pay fast and then we ship them later. Yeah. So during that period, and what was the other?
Magical Kenya.
The Magical Kenya.
But congratulations.
So thank you. The Magical Kenya, so I have been working with Magical Kenya in 2023, 24. So we did tour different counties and everything. And they recently put up the photography contest or competition and where you put... So it has been such a great journey, honestly, working with, because I get a chance to tell our stories and our culture, and it opened me up to, there's so much I learned, honestly, even going to different counties, interacting with different communities and different people. Like Kenya is very rich in culture and we just need to nurture that. And I do appreciate them opening that platform. And now it's opened to Kenyans, to everyone. So it was a great feeling. So as I said, we're the first ones also. The first in this competition. We were the first ones, so they want to keep doing it every year, and doing it bigger, and they're opening up to Kenyan, so you can apply online, everything. Yeah, but we were the first ones, so they were using us again to test.
Initiatives. Amazing. Last word for a young girl who's watching this and they're trying to break through in the fashion industry. What would you tell them?
Fashion is not for the weak. Honestly, for me, my strength and my pillar has just been God. I feel like the Bible has everything, answers for everything in terms of finances, business, how to conduct your life. Yeah. So I will say just put God first. You really need God in entrepreneurship. So I will say put God first. Yeah.
That's a very good parting shot. I mean, in God's timing, everything will
because everything,
right.
And he's the one who open doors, provide opportunities, connect you to people, also show you how you should interact with people, how you should, you'll get all your answers in the Bible.
Yeah.
So that's how I live.
That's how you live.
And that's how I'm getting, I could not pinpoint to you how I got any of these opportunities. I could not tell you that, this person introduced me. No one introduced me to the AU. Who has that connection?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Our country, you have to lobby a whole country to take one person. So that means no one
can actually put you there.
God.
Yeah.
So
and your consistency.
You have to be consistent. Yeah. You really have to be consistent. Through the hard times and the good times.
Yes.
I know, once you have the good times are just a confirmation that you're on the right path. Yeah. Whenever you're feeling low, go to the Bible. Whenever you're feeling, even when you succeed and everything, go back to the Bible. Everything,
That's a very good way to end it.
Because I do realize a lot of, it's so funny, I was joking with my brother the other day and we had just come from Bible study and he was saying a lot of, when you think of a lot of wealthy people who are not grounded in spirituality or whatever, religion, whatever it is, that some who are a lot of wealthy people who've made it in life, they have all the material things, but they're still lacking, they still have a lot of issues. And we're just talking, we're a lot of these things will be solved if you actually just have God in your life. Because you wouldn't be doing a lot of the things that we're hearing, like Diddy stuff, because you have everything. But if, look at someone like Denzel, who's grounded and, so that's how I think about it. You can, you just need God. That's it.
You need God.
Yeah.
And that's a perfect way to drop the mic. Mic drop. I feel like we could go on with this conversation on and on. It's really been amazing. We have so much to unpack and you're doing amazing. I didn't even know when we were sitting here, I didn't think that I knew everything. I knew bits and pieces of it, but just how you've broke it down and just told us your journey, your story. It's so inspiring just to know you're young. You're still a young lady.
Guys, I'm young. We're entering a serious age, but we're young. Please.
Yeah.
Gen Zs, we're young.
We are young. But good job you're doing. Keep up the great work. Keep on putting our name out there, Africa, Kenya at large. And let's see you on bigger stages. Amen. New York Fashion Week, are we coming?
Yes, hopefully I did get invited. Actually, I was among the first one. I got invited in 2023.
So for this year?
But they denied my visa. So hopefully I've been... and then they re-invited me again 2024. So for me, the thing is, I just need a visa, US visa, that's it. Okay. But allow me to say this.
Yes.
So Ohana will be permanently displayed at Design Museum in London in March.
Wow.
So Design Museum is the largest contemporary museum in the world. And that's one thing I've been keeping on the low, but it is launching in March 26th. So there will be,
This year?
This year, yes, 2025. So every year they do exhibitions. So it's a contemporary museum, meaning they do art, different things like they've had Amy Winehouse. They just celebrate different themes every year. So this year, the theme is Splash, History of Swimming, 100 years of swimming. So they just see how swimming has, how everything has been revolutionized in the swimming world. And so I was honored because my designs will be part of the contemporary innovators of this decade in the swimming. Yeah. So that's happening.
Congratulations.
We'll be in London in March. So Ohana.
From Nairobi to London.
Yes. So at least that one, as we wait for New York and the rest of the world to give us a visa.
American Embassy.
Please come through. But yeah, that's
amazing.
Yeah, I'll be posting
and
stuff
how
about
can
that.
people find Ohana in case someone is looking for it?
So just go. So our Instagram is Ohana Swimwear, Facebook Ohana Swimwear, TikTok Ohana Swimwear, and then our website is ohanafamilywear.com. Yeah, Ohana Familywear. Yeah.
What about you? If someone wants some more advice, anything to just understand?
Just find me on Instagram, Neema Nkatha, or LinkedIn, Neema Nkatha Kinoti. Yeah. Yeah.
Amazing.
Thank you.
You're so awesome.
Same, you too.
I laugh a lot, so I love it.
Yeah, I'm happy. You have to be happy.
You brought the right energy.
The joy of the Lord. You have to be happy.
And that's been it, guys. Thank you for staying tuned till this far. If you've come this far, follow, subscribe, share, like, do everything you gotta do to take us to the next level.
Yes, guys.
Where we bring you everything women, everything business, and everything money. See you at the next one.
Congratulations also. I'm proud of you for this podcast. Congratulations.
You. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, women in business.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for
Such an honor.
Thank you for having me.
Bye, guys.